If you're watching this, chances are you're a successful leader. You know how to run a business. You know the frameworks. You've been on the programs. And yet, leadership still feels harder than it should. Despite your best efforts, you still find yourself responding to situations in an old pattern that does not quite support the intentions that you have. You're looping on decisions you know you should have made days ago. You walk out of some meetings thinking, that wasn't quite the version of me I wanted them to see. You're carrying a lot of complexity, and on paper it looks fine, but inside, it doesn't feel so fine. If that resonates, you're exactly who I had in mind when I built my coaching practice. My name is Pietro Pazzi, and I coach senior leaders who operate in complex environments and want to lead from a more centered, authentic place, without losing the edge or burning out quietly in the background. I spent over 30 years in executive roles, general management positions, global head of Lean Six Sigma for the Linde Group, leading transformation programs across multiple continents. I spent some time as a consultant to multinationals and as an entrepreneur. My world was performance, business excellence, change management, and data. And we got the results. Significant business impact, large-scale programs, all of that stuff. But over the years, I noticed something that puzzled me. The biggest constraint weren't usually tools or talent. They were the inner lives of leaders. Technically brilliant people who knew exactly what to do, but were stuck in overthinking, conflict avoidance, control, exhaustion, or just a sense of, is this really it? And there was a time that I could see the same pattern in myself. On the surface, strong track record. Underneath, overdrive, pressure, and ways of working that were not sustainable. And that's what led me back to my roots in psychosynthesis, a depth psychology that works with the whole person, not just the behavior and skills, but identity, purpose, will, and the different parts that show up in our leadership. Today, my work sits at the intersection of these two worlds, business excellence and conscious leadership. So how does this actually show up with my clients? At the simplest level, I work with leaders as they upgrade their operating system. Most leadership development works outside in, more models, more tools, more things to remember in the moment. What I've seen is that in our VUCAN world, vulnerability, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, noise, that's no longer enough. You don't just need better techniques. You need to become a different leader from the inside out to deal with the same complexity. You and I, work on things like how you relate to pressure and uncertainty, how you make decisions when there isn't clearly a clear answer, right, or a clear right answer. How your inner critic, your driver, your peacemaker, your controller, how they interact. How present and safe people feel around you, especially when things are tense. And how connected your day-to-day leadership is to anything that feels like a deeper why. And we always connect that inner work to real current situations, your board, your team, your strategy, and the next 6 months of your reality. There are a few ways leaders work with me, but let me focus on the core one, virtual face-to-face coaching and mentoring. It's a one-on-one journey designed for leaders who are ready for fundamental transformation, not just incremental improvement. We essentially work at 6 dimensions of your leadership. Call it your leadership operating system. There's the foundation, your real self-awareness beyond personality labels. Your will, how you choose, how you say yes, how you say no, and how do you stand by these decisions. Your inner team, those different inner voices that show up in your leadership. Your relational field, the impact of your presence in the room. Your synthesis, how you hold polarities and complexities, both inner and outer. Your actualization, purpose, your sustainability, and what your leadership is ultimately in service of. Practically, it looks like this. deep 90-minute sessions, fortnightly or monthly, specific practices and reflections between sessions, ongoing support as things come up in real time. It's flexible, but with an underlying structure, but it's not theoretical. These dimensions are fluid and plug directly into what you're facing right now. Difficult conversations, strategic choices, or team dynamic challenges. Alongside that, I also offer various leadership excellence programs for leaders who want a more structured, with clear models across 6 to 10 sessions, and team development when it becomes clear that the work needs to involve your team. But everything starts with you. What's it like working this way? Leaders often come in saying things like, I'm successful, but I'm tired. I'm respected, but I'm not sure people really see me. I'm good in a crisis, but I don't want my whole career to be one crisis after the other. And over time, what they typically notice is more clarity. Less looping, more grounded decisions. More space. More capacity to respond instead of react. Greater honesty with themselves and with others. Increased presence. People around them feel safer and more engaged. And often a quiet but very important shift. A sense that their leadership actually feels like theirs again. This work is not for everyone. It's not for leaders who want a new toolkit or a quick fix. It's not about polishing the persona. It is for leaders who are willing to look at themselves with some courage, who want depth rather than more noise, and who sense that their next level of impact will come less from pushing harder and more from leading from a different place inside them altogether. If any of this speaks to you, best next step is simple. Let's have a conversation. On my website and in the comments below, you'll find a link to book a complimentary 30-minute discovery call. In that call, we'll look at your current context and the challenges you might be facing. Explore what you'd like to be different or like to have different in your leadership and in your life. And see together whether we're a good fit. It's no pressure, no obligation. If it's a yes for both of us, we'll outline what working together could look like. If it's not, you'll still walk away with more clarity about where your inner work might need to be. And if you're not ready for the conversation yet, you can start with my free annual Conscious Leaders Planner, also linked below and on the website. It will guide you to reflect on the last 12 months and extract some insights. Objectively see where you stand right now, and guide you to manifest prioritized goals in the next 12 months. Either way, if you recognize yourself in what I've described, you know that technically strong leader who knows there's something more available, I'd invite you to take one small step. Book the call. Start the inner work that your outer world has been asking for. I'm Pietro. Thank you for watching. And if we do speak, I look forward to meeting the leader behind the role.